All right, so now we've created a new fire hydrant. With this fire hydrant, we know that we're going to go out and test it for its fire flow capabilities, so we have to create a test for that particular fire hydrant. The way we do that is we go into Test Group Maintenance. We'll click on this. We'll go down to Fire Flow Testing, and the first thing we're going to do is create a fire flow test. In here, I just click on Add New and put in the name of the test. So I just created a test called Demo 12/20/2010. Demo for IMS. Demo for IMS demonstration. So now I've created a test. I need to save this before I can start adding hydrants to the test. Right now you'll see down in here that these areas are grayed out. After I click Save, I've now created a test I can add hydrants to. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a test hydrant, and that will be the hydrant we just created. Again, if you start typing in this field, it will zero in on the hydrants you created. And we were on AB102 was the hydrant we created. And we're going to add that. It says, are we sure we want to? Yes, we are. And it pops up into this box. One of the unique features with Hurco's FireFlow Pro system is the ability to test more than one hydrant at a time while flowing from just one or two. This is a nice feature, especially if you're in drought conditions and you want to save water. Plus it does expedite the testing process. The only requirement is that you need to be sure that your test hydrants are the next hydrant in line from the hydrant you're flowing. So if you're testing 3 or 4 hydrants, they need to be 3 or 4 directions and the next hydrant down from the flowing hydrant. So we could put a series of hydrants in here, and I'll just add another one for demonstration purposes. We'll add a Hurco 1, yes, and you'll see it pops up here in the box. Now the reason we're getting the exclamation mark here is that it wants me to know that I've added more than one test hydrant. In a normal test, you wouldn't do that. If we're in a water conservation mode, we will. I'm going to go ahead and remove that test. All I do is highlight the line, go down, click on Remove Test Hydrant. Am I sure? Yes. And it goes away. So now we have one test hydrant. Next we need to add a hydrant to flow. I'm going to go down here and select a hydrant from my list. I'm going to select Hurco H1. The direction from the fire hydrant. This is just useful for your crews in the field. They're at the hydrant, they're going to flow. Which direction is that from the test hydrant? And if you know it's north of the test hydrant, then you know where to go and find the flow hydrant. And then most importantly is you have to identify the flow device you're going to be using. These descriptions here, when clicked on, tell the software which formula we are using to calculate the data for our reports. Again, I want to point out the green plus. If you're in if the hydrant I was looking for wasn't in this list, I could click on this. It cuts me back to the hydrant maintenance. I can add a new hydrant. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and leave it at Hurco H1. I'm going to add that flow hydrant. And again, if we knew that we were going to have to flow 2 hydrants to get a reasonable drop from static pressure to residual, I could simply go in, add another hydrant. If I don't know the direction, I can put unknown, put in the nozzle that I'm using, add, and I added a second flow hydrant. So I'm going to go in and remove this hydrant. Again, to remove it, just highlight the line, click on Remove Flow Hydrant. Yes. So now I've created a test for this particular hydrant. I never have to do that again. This test is identified with this hydrant every time I want to go back and do it. The only reason I would need to access this test again is if for some reason I decided I don't want to flow out of this hydrant anymore, or maybe the attributes for this hydrant had changed. But if nothing's changed, you would never have to change this again for that particular fire hydrant. While you're in here, if you wanted to add new hydrants, you would simply click on Add New. But before you do that, you need to click Save Data. And I saved it successfully, and I can escape. Now, there is something I want to show you here that is really a time-saving, nice feature of IMS. You can actually create a group of your tests to bring with you in the field. If you're using Hurco's FireFlow Pro or Valve Star system, you can import a group of hydrants or valves to go out and exercise and test. It saves time when you go to set up your work order. You don't need to import each and every single test to do that. And I'll give a demonstration of that here. I'm going to go back into Test and Group Maintenance. Go back to FireFlow Testing, and I'm going to go down to FireFlow Test Group Maintenance. In here, I'm going to create a new test. I'm going to call it IMS Demo. Demo 4. Test for IMS software. I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to go down. And again, I'm going to start typing in here and find some of the tests I've already created. Let's see. We created a test called Demo 1220. I'm going to add that test, and it pops up into this box. And now all I would do is continue going through this list. And I would add as many tests to this group of tests that I wanted to. There is no limit. However, you want to keep your group of tests in a manageable size. For example, on hydrants, you probably wouldn't want any more than 50 hydrants in a group. When you insert these hydrants into this group, you'll want to have your maps handy, because if you enter these hydrants in the order you want to test them, when we go to print a work order report, we can create a walking order report that you can give to the guys in the field that shows them exactly what the next hydrant is they need to go to, so they're not lost driving around trying to figure out which hydrant to do next. So that's how you create a group. If you decided you didn't want this one, again, you would highlight that line, click Remove Selected Tests, and now I have a test group with 3 hydrants in there. I'm going to save this because we'll use it when we create a work order.